Hello everyone, Enlightened Renegade here. Tonight I wanted to talk about a topic that's been being misused and misunderstood recently. Um, there are a few YouTubers, not going to name names, yes I am, but that's later on, that think that humor should be separated from life issues. This could not be further from the truth. It's intrinsically why humor was actually developed, was to, or not initially, but it is part of modern humor to make fun of issues that happen in the world. And tonight I wanted to talk about that. It's currently 1919 on Monday night, and just randomly thought of this after I was watching some commentary videos. So there are some people who think that we should separate humor from life issues, or actual societal issues. Which, if you're offended by them, sure, you can just not listen to them. You know, don't try to shut other people up, because that's kind of a violation of the First Amendment of the United States of America. Of course, here in the UK, you can be arrested for making jokes. Count Dankula, free my boy Dankula. But yeah, if you are offended by a certain joke, just don't listen to the joke. It's simple as that. And block someone who ever makes the joke. It's not hard. You know, you have that ability. If it's in person, then walk away. But there are people who think that you can't make jokes about serious topics like racism, sexism, sexual assault, fucking police brutality, shit like that. You know, you can make jokes about those things, and a lot of them are funny. But apparently to some people, they shouldn't be making those jokes. I don't understand why. Cause, right, I'm a bisexual guy. I love homophobic jokes, right? they're the funniest shit in the world. You know, it's a subjective matter. You know, you could be black and love racist jokes. You could be a woman and love sexist jokes. You could be a rape victim and love rape jokes. I know a person who's a great example of that. You know, it's simple as subjectivity versus objectivity. There's no objectivity in humor. There's subjectivity in humor. It's like politics. There's no actual objectivity, but there is subjectivity. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone thinks it's different. You know, it's simple as that. Some people have more statistics to back up their political views than others, but that is still a subjective way of looking at it, basing your ideas off of statistics. But yeah, some people think that you can't make these jokes, and they couldn't be further from the truth, right? Because if you don't make light of a horrible situation and laugh at it, then people are gonna continue to think that it's a taboo topic to talk on. But if you bring it in like that, that's also a coping mechanism, and it works beautifully. Hell, I think TJ Kirk, fucking whatever the fuck, the Amazing Atheist, that's what he is, right? Is fucking TJ. Hold on. Just doing, yep, TJ Kirk. Alright. Yeah, he made a video on this topic a long time ago. He was saying, like, how, well, you know, if you're gonna make jokes, then you can make jokes. It's not a bad thing. And, you know, he made an example, you know, how many police officers does it take to change a light bulb? None, they just beat the room for being black. You know, it's making fun of a societal issue that isn't an actual issue, because Black Lives Matter is fake news bullshit. I mean, no, but yeah, still, it's something you're supposed to do. You know, all humor is going to be offensive to someone at some point in time. It's basically, whether you get offended by it or not is up to you and what you've gone through or how you perceive it. It's not up to the person who told the joke. You know, I could say the most horrible shit, or the most horrible joke I can think of, like, you know what celebrity lost their weight the fastest? Anne Frank. Yeah, no, that's a horrible joke, right? But it's making fun of a horrible tragedy that happened 70 years ago. Nearly 80 now. Yeah, 75 years ago, roughly. It was the mid-1940s, so yeah. Like 73, 74 years ago. And a horrible thing happened. You know, I'm not going to deny that. Nobody thinks that, there's very few people think that the Holocaust was a good thing. I'm not a person who thinks that it was a good thing. It was a horrible thing. You know, genocide's never the option, the answer. But if you think that, you know, you shouldn't be able to make jokes about the Holocaust, then what's the point in having humor if it's not to offend, if it's not going to offend anyone? You know, the cleanest humor, like, why was 6 afraid of 7, 7, 8, 9? That could offend someone, you know? Someone could have lost their wife's brother's ex-girlfriend's child's married adopted child to a cannibal incident, and that would offend someone. You know, it's it's the simple fact of the difference and subjectivity of humor, and why, you know, it's not something that you can just police and think that, oh, this humor offends me, I'm gonna get it shut down. That's not what you get to do. You can make jokes about rape. You can make jokes about, you know, all this horrible shit. And nobody's going to be able to stop you because, well, at least not in the US, because we have our First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Of course, Twitter or YouTube or whatever social media you're doing it on can shut you down and delete your account. I'll let you Yiannopoulos. You know, it's just the simple fact of, are they going to risk the PR nightmare that's going to come from it? And a lot of companies nowadays won't. But a lot of the bigger companies will, because Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch are doing that now. But that's a topic for another time. You know, if you think that humor isn't subjective, then sorry, but you're probably the dumbest person I've ever heard of. Because humor is the most subjective, one of the most subjective things in history. And there are a lot of things equally subjective to it, and even more subjective than it. You know, it's, some things a lot more people find funny than other things, but there's still that dark humor side that almost everyone has. And if you're going to try and take that away, why not just start saying, hey, you know what you can't do? Think this way. Okay, bye. No, it's not going to work like that. And I don't know why people think it's going to work like that. Because you can't control how people think. And unfortunately, that's the truth. You can't say, oh, well, you know, that's racist, so you can't think that. No, that's not how that works. Unfortunately, racism and sexism is always going to exist. You know, things like that I don't think are good things. You know, I don't think anyone would disagree that racism and sexism are bad things. Or some people would not agree. You know, a lot of people agree that sexism and racism are horrible things, right? There's very few, there's nothing good about them. But some people have different definitions of racism. My definition is treating someone differently based on their skin tone. That is the dictionary definition, to my knowledge. And it's honestly it's what a lot of people's definitions should be, but, you know, If you disagree with it, then it's racist or sexist or problematic, according to a lot of people, because they can't handle their opinions being challenged. But yes, back to my point, humor, subjectivity. It is something that I'm going to stress this point a lot. Not everyone's going to laugh at jokes if you laugh at them, right? I find a lot of unfunny jokes very funny, and that's just me. That's how I live. That's the way I look at humor. Is if it's, if it's offensive, it's funny. As long as it doesn't cause, if it's actually inciting violence towards you, then yeah, I'd see that as a shitty thing, right? But if it's just, and then, salt, salt, oh yeah, that's JW, I think that, people like Salt, I'm going to name her, because she's the one I see doing it the most prominently. That isn't like, a channel, or not a commentary channel gold mine, right? Even though she is a commentary channel gold mine, she isn't talked about that much, so I'm going to bring light to that. She has made numerous videos saying that this is the perfect example of why rape culture exists in the West. But that's not true. Rape culture does not exist in the West, at least in the U.S. If a woman makes even a false accusation of rape towards a man, it ruins his life. A lot of people are going to see that on his record and think, oh man, I don't really want to hire this dude. What if he actually did do it? It's the simple fact of people are going to treat you differently now that you've been falsely accused of sexual assault. And that's horrible, that's why I did not touch any of my coworkers when I worked my job last season. I was afraid that I was going to lose my career at that point. And that's also why I didn't speak up about anything. Because, 98% of the people there were SJWs. I could only name 2 or 3 people who weren't. And even one or two of those, was unconfirmed. Right? But yeah, it's just, the simple fact is that rape culture does not exist in the West, and I'll make an entire video on that some other time. But yes, back to humor. This is not an indication that rape culture exists. It is making fun of a horrible thing that happens, unfortunately. And if you are offended by it, you don't have to watch it. Some people find jokes about rape funny. I know, shocking, right? Some people find racist jokes funny. Shocking, right? It's not saying that rape is good. It's saying that rape jokes are okay to that specific person. That's different than saying rape is okay. Because it's not. And a lot of people have that same mindset that rape is not okay. I think that's a pretty common Western idea. It's the simple fact of people are treating it differently than other people are treating it, and that's fair. You can view humor differently. That's fine. It doesn't make a huge difference to me. I'm a human. I view humor different than fucking my family does. Then again, I do have a communist sister, but that's a story I'm not gonna tell. Because I would, that's fucked. That's fucked up. But yeah, back to the point. I'm gonna end this video soon here. Back to the point. I'm gonna TLDR it for you. Humor is subjective. Nobody's gonna think of humor the same way as you are, and people are gonna laugh at offensive jokes. And if you can't handle that, then get off the internet. Or get away from the humor scene in general, because you're not gonna be able to laugh at anything if you can't find anything offensive funny. That's it. So I'm getting a Discord call. Yeah, I was gonna hop off anyways, and my other sister's texting me. So I will see you guys in the next video, and have a nice one.